There's an age-old adage in showbiz which says once you've been a guest star on The Simpsons, well, you have made it. For me, I'm still waiting for that call. So sorry, I thought I felt it vibrate. But for my guest today, well, it's a very different story. So welcome to this, the very first episode of Season 3 of The Guest List, and you find me here backstage at a photo shoot because our film fan today is actually promoting their latest film, so we're going to have a quick sit down with them and discuss some of their magical moments of cinema. Come on. Episode 1, Season 3 of The Guest List brings us a man who's only been in showbiz for a decade but has picked up more statues than you'd find in a museum. He's written 2 of the most respected sitcoms of the past 10 years. He's a stand-up comedian, writer, director and now lead in a romantic comedy. With 2 new films in the pipeline and another tour confirmed, it's fair to say he's a busy man, but not too busy today to join me on The Guest List. Ricky Gervais, welcome to The Guest List.
Lovely to be here.
Good. It's lovely to have you here. We've got absolutely loads to talk about.
Sorry, let's do that again, because there's a hint of sarcasm.
Okay.
No, I've got to be serious here.
I thought that was serious.
Have you had your teeth whitened?
No,
Sorry,
the beard
let's
makes them look whiter because it's darker.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I know.
Ricky Gervais.
Wait.
All right.
Let's give him our best shot.
Okay.
Is this all right?
I like that.
I want to look intelligent and directorial.
Uh-huh.
All right, okay, here we go.
Loads to talk about. You've got a new movie out, The Invention of Lying.
It's my directorial debut. I also star in it. I cast millions of people and I was the best. I gave myself the lead role. I liked me. I thought I was brilliant. It stars me and Jennifer Garner and Rob Lowe, and it's set in a world where the human race hasn't evolved the gene for lying. But then I discover I can lie. Now the shoe's on the other foot. And we wanted this film to be like the funniest episode of The Twilight Zone ever.
I mean, the 80s for me was a great era for film. Music as well, to a certain degree, but film, definitely.
Yeah.
Back to the Future. What is it about that film that you liked?
I think it's nearly perfect as that family blockbuster. I mean, everything about it is exciting. The time travel, the fact that that's been an influence on both Invention of Lying and Cemetery Junction. I love the fact they took the high concept and it was just an excuse to then explore all the things that you usually like to explore in films, relationships.
Hey, don't worry.
A rip-roaring story.
You input your destination time on this keypad.
Maybe learning something, an emotional journey. These are things that films really need. I love Hollywood. I think good Hollywood is amazing. But there's a lot of schlock stuff. I mean, it's like they've got the blueprint and they swap the lead actors and actresses. And I think that's through the fact that everyone puts their oar in and it becomes homogenised and amazing. Perfect.
It actually worked. I don't know whether you can use it. It was one of those terrifying moments where I thought, is that in my head? Because it's so unlikely. It's so unlikely.
I can create music just by talking. Yeah, I'm going to start humming Beatles songs. This interview cost them £2 million.
Hey, I got a funny story about Back to the Future, which ties into what you were saying. Famously, Universal, the head of Universal at the time, wanted to call it, didn't like the name, wanted to call it Spacemen from Pluto. And to avoid this happening, Steven Spielberg
He wrote him a letter, didn't he? That's it. Is that the thing? So he pretended it was a joke, didn't he? That what a great gag. We were all laughing, yeah. And then he just didn't say it. Is that true? That's lovely.
Yeah. Have you ever had to do anything like that? Have you ever actually had to put your back up and go?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It was a television project. It was in the edit. I won't say what the project was, but it was early days, and the editor said, "Oh, we've got a few notes from the exec producer. He wants to do this, 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 and this." I went, "Okay, send it back as it is and say, is this any better?" And he sent it back unchanged, and we got a note back saying much better.
Oh my God.
Didn't even look at it. Because sometimes they just want to be involved. They want to think that they've got a say.
But you did do Ghost Town. which, while it isn't obviously one of these mainstream, mass-produced romantic comedies, is something you only had a limited control over because you were just an actor in it.
I was on board first. David kept wrote with me in mind, I think, and he let me in on the casting decisions, and we even did a rewrite. He flew over to England, and we spent a few days rewriting it to fit me. It was already very much like my voice anyway.
I was going to ask, Bertram Pincus, is there a lot of you?
Oh, absolutely. I don't usually read scripts. I turn them down. I've turned down 150 scripts. I've probably turned down about 50 films. Not because they were all bad, half of them were, but because I was busy. The joy for me isn't just being in lots of movies and seeing my fat face on the screen. If it's not my idea, I don't want to do it, really. And now I've come to love acting and directing, and producing's fun as well. But it's all to do with the initial idea, really, and seeing that through.
It seems to be something that you've done in areas that no one else has done it. I mean, for example, the Simpsons episode that you were a guest voice on, you're the first person, and I think still the only person, who's guest voiced and written an episode.
I think that's because they'd done about 500 and they thought, oh, we've run out of ideas. They called me up and said, you got any ideas? I went, I got a few, when do you want to write it? Yeah. Whoever's name's on the end, it's a big co-write, and it goes through all their writers, so that's slightly different. I did write the song, that was all mine, which was fun. Oh, who left this here? Did I tell you I'm a bit of a songwriter? Words and music, hold the applause. But no, just to be part of that process was amazing. I mean, just being asked, I'd already won. Do you know what I mean? Do you want ice cream, by the way?
I was going to say, I'll have a feast.
Because you've been a good girl, I'm going to get you a flake. You're going to tell me you're not a girl, aren't you?
I'm not a girl.
Doesn't it look like Winona Ryder in one of those films where she has to pretend to be a man to get a job?
You haven't really...
You used to be such a pretty girl.
I've grown a beard.
And now you grow a beard and put a suit on. It ruined half my material.
I know. And I was very aware of that as I was growing it. Day by day, I thought, when this interview comes around, he's not going to be able to call me a little girl anymore. But you still did. Thank you.
I should explain that I've known you for many, many years.
Yep.
I'm not just a dirty old man who came in and started saying to a presenter, "Are you a lovely girl? Also, why don't you shave the beard and pop on a dress?"
Yeah. It makes me look dignified.
It does. No, it works.
I keep doing this a lot.
It works, and your teeth look whiter, and can we get some glue? One of his eyelashes has actually dropped off now. Listen, I used to be a pretty boy.
I remember, yeah.
Look at this. Make the most of it.
Right, that's it for part one of the guest list, but join me in part two when we're going to be hearing more from Ricky Gervais. Hello and welcome back to today's guest list. I'm Alex Zane and I'm talking films with Ricky Gervais. Now, you've been really busy recently, haven't you? When you do relax and you do watch a movie, where do you do that? Do you go to the cinema?
I don't go to the cinema anymore.
No?
No. Very good reason.
Go on.
I hate people. They're annoying. They're eating popcorn, they're on their mobile phones, they're poking me in the back of the neck. It's because...
It's odd though, I do understand what you mean. I've experienced what you're talking about. You go to the cinema and surely you're there to be engrossed in a film.
That's cost $100 million and someone has sort of, wrenched his heart out to put this art on the screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then someone's...
Kissing. When a cinema puts sofas on the back row for couples so they don't have to sit in individual chairs, there's no arm in the middle so they can do whatever. You're catering for someone who isn't really there to watch the movie as much as to do Mickey stuff.
Well, the terrible thing is, I probably go to the cinema, once or twice a year.